Hi there, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. This week's discussion topics include anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America. The show is meant to be an opportunity for people to speak their mind and to educate others about the reality of life in America with regards to racism, bigotry, and inequality. It's also meant to set an example of a respectful dialogue in a heterogeneous setting where we're just being real. Hashtag standing. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. We're just getting started and I'm doing my little rant intro, but jump right in any time to say anything you want. It's just way past time for white America to educate ourselves about our real racial history. And it's going to be painful. But just because we were born into this generation and everything was already going, doesn't mean we ignore it and we just do nothing and say, well, that's the way it is. It's not the way it's supposed to be. So, if we don't do something now, who are we expecting to help? This is our time. We've seen the monster we have getting everybody in our nation who has a racist bone in their body, all excited and revved up and entitled. If we're not going to stand up for this now, when are we? So it's just so important that white folks, not to be saviors, of course not. It's like we blew that long, long ago. It's to give a shit about our fellow humans because they matter. And we just can't keep doing this. So that's why I do the show. So if you're white and you do not know what redlining is, if you don't know what the Devil's Punch Bowl, sundown towns, the origins of police in America, black codes, Jim Crow, redlining, separate but equal, the real story of chattel slavery, what really happened, Black Wall Street, Emmett Till, our tax code and how it's made to make sure that the cycle of poverty continues. And there's just so much more. If you don't know this, then you don't know your own racial history. All right. So it's just really important to go on the facts. So hello there, Kitchen Politics. Thank you for being here. And Lakeisha, God, you guys are awesome. And hashtag standing. That's what I'm going to call you. Is that okay? They need to stand in their truth. That's what white people need to do. Thank you. Yep. And it's not going to be pleasant, but nothing that matters, nothing that's great ever is pleasant. I'm thousands of miles outside of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is in another country. But I don't care because this matters. And I just can't thank you guys for being here. And let's get going. If I could teach one thing, okay, this is kind of a lie because I want to teach a million things. I was a teacher. And that's what I do. And I love doing that. If I could teach white America one thing, it would be that our nation was purposefully built to be a system of white supremacy. It was purposeful. This wasn't an accident. This is a historical fact that has been successfully kept out of our history books at every turn. Most white folks have absolutely no clue or understanding about what it means to live in our modern time as a Black person, an Indigenous, a brown person, an African American. They have absolutely no clue. If you think about it, hi Neil, thanks for being here. Our nation was founded on the principles of basically a near genocide of the Native people, and then forcing human beings to be enslaved and take on a non-human status, all for white people's greed. Lakeisha, how long have you been a teacher? I have been a teacher, I started when I was 24. I worked in Compton, California during the Los Angeles riots. And I was an elementary school teacher for 4th and 5th grade. And it was an amazing experience. It was my first teaching job. So thank you for asking that. for white people, 75% of all white adults in America today don't have a single close friend who's not white. So how in the world would they know what's going on? They hear it from the news. They want to avoid it. We have a disgusting, barbaric past. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to face it. And the history books just whitewash it all away. So there is a disconnect. And I know when Trump's gone, the people who voted for him are still going to be here. So that's why I'm all about educating. And I kind of go on a rampage. I go on a rant because there's nothing in this nation more important than ending white supremacy. There's nothing. It hits every area, everything. Lakeisha, they're living a lie on Black wealth stolen. Absolutely. And if you're new to watching, what she's talking about is this nation was built and made wealthy on the backs of human beings just like you and I, who care about their children, who feel and love and cry and hurt. These people were taken and forced into one of the most atrocious crimes against humanity that has ever been. Forced to be enslaved, dehumanized, and made to, it's just, the system we have was not meant for Black people. It was meant for white people to succeed. And our nation got wealthy by enslaving human beings and treating them worse than animals so that we could get wealthy. Greed is in the DNA of our country. Neil, the Black people have carried America on their backs. Absolutely. Thank you, Neil, for saying that. Robert, hello. Free labor. And they call, yeah, exactly. And they call Blacks lazy. It is the most hypocritical, obnoxious thing. When I hear people buying into that total bullshit propaganda, Blacks are lazy, it's like, are you kidding me? There's research that shows that people who are enslaved, who are Black in 150 years ago, were actually found to have their muscles off of the actual limbs because they were worked to death. Yeah, that's real lazy. So it's enraging, but people do it. So we're going to talk a lot tonight about a lot of things, and I hope you like the show. I want you to jump in anytime, ask questions, give your point of view, bring your friends. I want to build this audience because there's nothing more important than talking about racism in America, in a country that does not treat everybody equally, but boasts liberty and justice for all. It's just so wrong. So we gotta do it from grassroots up, because our federal government is not going to help us, at least not this one. So let me find my spot. I appreciate everyone being here, and just say what you want to say, and I am here to read it and hopefully talk about it and talk amongst yourselves. Do what you need to do. I want this to be an open conversation as much as humanly possible. So, the United States, a lot of people don't really catch on to this. A lot of white folks, was planned and orchestrated to create citizens who were loyal supporters of capitalism. And in and of itself, it doesn't sound so bad, does it? Well, in this way, the ultra wealthy could get richer and everyone else would need to keep working incredibly hard just to make ends meet. And for the system to work, the white masses needed to believe that they too had a chance to make it big someday with hard work and perseverance. And you know what? All the wealthy elite needed to do was to make sure that the white masses blamed all of their problems on Black people and other people of color. And in this way, the white uneducated masses would never realize that the ultra wealthy were conning them. Basically, they've been fooled into working for the wealthy elite for free. And to this day, they still do it. And that is why Trump has this amazing base. They have bought into they've purchased the lies and made them their own. And of course, they think all news is fake because they don't want to face the truth. Lakeisha, let me read what you have to say. Inhumane conditions where black people should never live in poverty. Inhumane conditions, we black people should never live in poverty. We should be living like white people live, live nice in nice homes, cars, clean houses, and decent environment. Absolutely. And it is criminal, in my very, privileged opinion. It is criminal that that is not happening. Absolutely criminal. And it's also enraging to me personally that all white people aren't absolutely up in arms and furious with this lie that we live in America. It's disgusting. And I'll never get it, but I'll never stop trying to educate. So we have a lot of weird things to talk about today. I think this man has just been there way too long, and he needs to take his sick, racist clan with him when he goes. So our nation is basically run by the wealthy, and everybody needs to get that. What they've done is there's been an intentional proliferation of tension between uneducated white folks completely against Black, Brown, Indigenous, African American people. And it's meant to be a total distraction so that white folks will never unite and take our nation back. We are run by the rich, and apparently a lot of people don't care, or they just don't get it. I can't answer for them, but it's way past time. So thanks to uneducated folks who are too afraid to hear the truth. It's just the same thing next century. The gap is widening. It's not getting any better. So we got to do something. The middle class is disappearing. Let me take some comments. Let me see. Neil, I would consider racism as criminal. Absolutely. Lakeisha, homes are so expensive to keep us from borrowing to purchase a home in America, but Black people rent more than own in this sick country. Yeah, I mean, right now, I don't think there's a place in the country that a person can live, to any certain standard where being at minimum wage will cut it, or being on welfare will cut it. It's really bad. And we just keep it going because we have this crazy idea that if you're poor in America, it's your own fault. What a crock of shit that is. I mean, blame the victim. Talk about blame the victim. Kitchen politics. Trump was elected by 1/5 of the population. The Electoral College elected him, not the people. Your thoughts on him chastising Representative Omar from Michigan for making anti-Semitic statements via Twitter. Okay? And kitchen politics, 1, 2, 3. Representative Omar is a Black Muslim who was recently elected to Congress in 2018. Okay. And Lakeisha, set up systematically to keep us down. Lakeisha, it's the facts at every turn. The more I learn, and I learn something every day, it's unbelievable. It is purposeful. When I was really young, I used to thought, well, maybe they just don't really know what's going on. No, this is absolutely purposeful. It's purposeful. Thank you so much for your comments. Jump right in anytime and I will get to you. The middle class is disappearing and people are suffering economically. And there comes a certain point where people, the masses, so to speak, they have nothing left to lose. So it's a really frightening time. And I don't know what you guys think of this, and I want to know what you think of this. A lot of people have these theories that a capitalistic society must have racism intertwined in it, and that systems like ours really only end up lasting about 200 plus years, and then they turn to dictatorship or the people take over and become more socialized. And, when people talk about socialism, for the most part, the white folks have no clue what they're talking about because Trump doesn't. We have socialism all over the place, all over our country, hundreds and hundreds of programs right now that we all support. So this whole socialist thing is just more propaganda because remember, the elite have to somehow keep those uneducated white folks from catching on. And Trump's a mastermind at that. And it's not a compliment. So, and you know, it's kind of unfortunate that most white people today they do not get systemic racism. They just don't get it. It's a crime against humanity. And everyone who isn't actively trying to dismantle it is participating in it. And it's not just a crime against humanity for robbing people of the ability to accumulate wealth. I mean, that's a huge part of it. But, oh God, it's just so much more than that. It's more holistic in its destructive nature. If you're new to this idea and you're watching, it robs people of their self-worth, and it's psychological. It's oppressive at every turn. It makes you buy into the belief that somehow you're not good enough. No, it's the system. The system isn't good enough. It's not you. And I just hope people get this, because it's not you. Capitalism seems to be intertwined with racism and in this sick symbiotic relationship. And we're not all starting from the same spot. So it's not fair, it's not equitable, and it's certainly not equal. So, in capitalism, under capitalism, not all groups are supposed to make it. It's kind of a built-in part of a capitalist society. So, does anyone have any comments? I'm going to jump in a minute. And, Lakeisha, 40 years, America will be like Barbados. Black people will take our power back and run this country the white way. Given land and, oops, it starts scrolling. Given land, they'll run this country the right way, and they'll have property and billions of dollars in business like Apple, Amazon, and McDonald's. This nation needs a change. Robert, whites that came to this country were the ones were unwanted from countries that they were from. Frederick Trump, the daddy of Donald, was running from the law when they came into this country. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think a lot of people came for a better opportunity, but for the most part, they weren't happy where they were. But people like Fred Trump, he is, I mean, talk about the apple in the tree not falling far from it, or whatever that saying is. My God. He was arrested at a Ku Klux Klan rally in full garb. He's, and I don't know if you guys have heard, but Trump is a eugenics dude. He's been videoed talking about the right genes. I mean, it's ugly. It's everything you think and more. Thank you for those great comments. Yeah, he's a very, very bad man. People have no idea. God. I know you guys do, but people don't. Kitchen politics. Right-wing psychopaths believe that socialism equals communism. Absolutely. Two different systems of governing. Nothing wrong with being rich. Why not invest in workers by raising minimum wages and having stronger unions? Great, amazing comment. Thank you, Kitchen Politics. 100% agree. Couldn't agree more. The craziest thing is, if we allowed our fellow humans as white people, if we actually treated them like humans, it would change crime. It would change our mentality. It would change our culture. It would be all these things that we put so much money into, we think, that barely help anybody, wouldn't really be necessary, because you see, we're all supposed to be able to make it. And the system we have now isn't made for that. It's made to keep people down and oppress and marginalize. And it's only getting worse. So, I mean, I think we're coming to the end of our time here. I can't help but think that. What do you guys think? Lakeisha, let me see. Trump was and still is a perpetrator, victim of his upbringing of white privilege and supremacy. Absolutely. That's a great comment. Trump, and you know what? He honestly, from the comments made about people who were, shut out from the federal government for work, he truly, truly just doesn't get it. I mean, there's no way that guy's this good of an actor. There's no way. I mean, there's just no way. Kitchen politics. Fred Trump's daddy was a pimp as well. Yeah, I read about that too. That's how they made their wealth originally. Trump installed a 50,000K golf computer simulation using taxpayers' money. Disgusting. Your thoughts, please. Thanks for asking. I want to know what you guys think. I think a lot of things about the Trump family. I've gotten the opportunity to study in depth about Donald, and I truly believe he's a personality disorder, severe mental illness, and that coupled with his total privilege. I don't believe anyone's ever said no to the man. And his ties to the Ku Klux Klan and to white supremacy are disgusting. What can I say? It's disgusting. And I hate to just focus on him, though, because, see, the people were here way before he decided to become the, makeshift de facto leader of the modern, the boss of the modern Ku Klux Klan. And that's how I feel. So these people are still going to be there. And we can only count on grassroots efforts because our federal government is not going to educate the white folks. And we need the white folks to not be saviors, but for God's sakes, they're voting against their own interest. They're working. A racist white person is literally, unless they are a billionaire, and they're still working against their own interest, but in a different capacity. They're working against their own interest. They're literally making sure that their status will never improve. All so they can hate people for nothing. It's disgusting. And I don't know what to say because I don't get it. I don't get it. So let's start talking about some stuff. Kitchen politics. If you want to ask me questions and I'll answer specifics. If I don't know about it, I'll say, I don't know about it. But definitely anyone who's watching, jump right in and tell me what you think. So we have these groups in America. I call them 3 groups. And I don't know what you guys think. If you think it's 3 groups or just 2 groups. It's kind of 2, but here's my thoughts. And tell me what you think. Capitalism is unchecked in America, and it's just gone too far. And the result is this divided nation that is really getting more and more divided. Michael, hello. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy to have you. First of all, we have the ultra wealthy who benefit from the system. However, there is a lot new push. I don't know if you guys heard this. There's this group of progressive millionaires who are getting together and they're saying no. In the end, this is going to destroy our nation. So it's kind of interesting. And I'll talk a little bit about that later if you guys want me to. The middle class is going bankrupt and becoming destroyed. If you think about the laws are made to benefit the millionaires, and white Americans who are uneducated, they keep falling for it over and over. And I don't get it. How else can a millionaire or a billionaire go bankrupt a gazillion times and then become a millionaire? This is ridiculous. When I go bankrupt, I'm bankrupt. I don't get to start over and become a millionaire. It's like these rules apply to them and not the general population. Kitchen politics. Trackdown was a CBS show in 1957-58. The main bad guy's name is Trump, a snake oil man who is xenophobic, who wanted a wall on our southern border with Mexico. Pretty uncanny, huh? Yeah, that's terrifying. That's very terrifying. Is that really true? My God, that's a little bit out there. Post stuff up to tell about it, because so we have the bazillionaires, most of which are absolutely benefiting from it. They're white. Stevie, hello, thank you for being here. Neil, in my opinion, there's no middle class anymore, just lower and the rich. Yeah, Neil, I mean, that's kind of what the statistics are showing. So we have these really, really wealthy people. And I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but I agree, Neil. When half the bankruptcies, and this is a recent stat, half the bankruptcies today in America are due to health insurance premiums, deductibles, and copays. When people get sick in America, even if they have insurance, 50% of the people who go bankrupt has nothing to do with a yacht, has nothing to do with a sailboat or a giant home or a pool they had to have. Nothing. It's because somebody got sick in their family for not that long of a time sometimes. It doesn't take much. And if you have crappy insurance, which pretty much, unfortunately, or for good or for bad, I'm lucky to have insurance, but I've probably tried about five, six, maybe even 7 different ones, not on purpose, but because of job switches. And pretty much they're all alike. You pay. It's no picnic. It's not a freebie. So half of the people in America who go bankrupt, of course, we look down upon that. My God, it's the system. The system wasn't built to allow people to succeed. And that's just what it is. Kitchen politics. We must permanently seal the revolving door where after one is done with serving in Congress, they get a cushy job as lobbyists. These lobbyists fund campaigns of these politicians. Stop it and problem solve. Absolutely. Lobbying in America is the exact same thing that we look down upon all these nations for being corrupt. We just call it a nice name. Lobbying. It's unbelievable. We are incredibly arrogant and sanctimonious. We say, oh, how could they? They take bribes. It's like, take bribes? We have it built into the system to take bribes. It's like, dang. I don't get it. So the next group, before I move on, thank you. Great point, kitchen politics, as usual. So, it's kind of crazy. These wealthy people who end up, and I'm not trying to bag, there's nothing wrong with being wealthy. A lot of people who are wealthy end up doing tons of charity work. And you know what? Our government needs to be the one to create laws for all the people. And they don't, and they won't. And it's because you shouldn't have to be wealthy to be a politician. You shouldn't. If you look at our politicians, their median income, my God, it's ridiculous. Our country's run by the wealthy. So how do we think the wealthiest people in America who have these huge conglomerates are getting away with paying non-living wages? It's the laws. And what happens when they pay a person working 40 to 60 hours such a low wage, they can't make ends meet. Guess who gets the burden of it? Everyone else who's working. Because most of these companies end up not paying taxes. And if they do pay taxes, they pay very little. They can afford it. But what they do is it's like a double whammy because they don't pay a living wage. So the people who are employed working full-time or more, they can't feed their family. So they need to get food from the government, which comes out of our taxes. And so it's like basically a lot of people call it corporate welfare. I mean, that's kind of what it is. What do you guys think? I mean, have you heard of corporate welfare? And do you agree that it's just ludicrous? I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in a country that lets people go hungry. All this bullshit about people not working and doing that. I've never met a single soul who doesn't work because they don't want to and they want to sit. Literally, I've never met a single person. Oh, I thought Trump was getting rid of lobbyists. Wasn't he supposed to stop the corruption? But instead, he is the corruption. So it's insane. Exactly. Great point. And I mean, the next group of people are the mostly very, very ignorant white masses who have been tricked. So we have the wealthy ones, and we have the white folks who are probably working very hard, but they've been tricked out of fear to vote against their own interest in the most horrible way. When I was a little kid, I heard that my generation will be the first generation in America that will not do better than their parents. Where do you guys stand? Lakeisha, why do you think it's against the law to rob a bank? It's not because it's against the law. It's to protect Black Black from finding out what all the money in those banks are Black people's money. Oh my God, that is that is an interesting point. That is a very interesting point. The Black people in our country have been abused beyond human understanding, and most white people don't get it. And when we do talk about the truth about our real racial history, white people take it as a personal insult. It's not about us. It's about the system. You can use the N-word all you want, and the system isn't going away. You cannot use the N-word all you want, and the system's still not going away. It's a system. It's not about us as individuals. And I just feel it's way past time for white folks to take some responsibility. And that's why I can't tell Black people what to do. I don't know better than them about what's happening in their world, but I certainly can learn and educate myself so that I can educate white folks. And it's nothing to be defensive about. You didn't do it, but if you stand and watch, you might as well have. So that's just my take. And Lakeisha, those are interesting points. The divide between the haves and have-nots is widening, and there's been no time in my lifetime, and I'm kind of old, where unrestricted capitalism has threatened to destroy our democracy like it is today. It's a culture of inhumanity and greed over humanism and being a decent person. And it's marketed by Trump and his clan, and he's brought out the haters. And you know what? Some people, you can never make them stop. You just can't. But at least you can keep their mouth quiet in public. If they're going to be rude, inhumane people. But with Trump, people are ignited. Let me take some people. Michael, let me see here. Let me see. I lost you. Michael posted a YouTube. Tell us what that's about if you have time. Tell us what you got on there. Kitchen politics. Stupidity should be painful. Poor whites who voted for Trump and Republicans rather defend their hate than being inclusive. Do you think they'll learn their lesson before 2020 election cycle? Absolutely not. Thank you for asking Kitchen Politics. What do you guys think? I know a lot of people have learned their lesson and they're humiliated and embarrassed, and they don't need to be. I don't want people to be humiliated and embarrassed. I just want them to learn our real racial history and how we caused every single problem in the non-white communities today. We did that through all those things like I talked about earlier. People say slavery was so long ago. People who say that, that's ahistorical. Are you kidding me? What do you think mass incarceration is? What do you think systemic racism is? It's just an offshoot. It's just a different way of looking at it. Let me see. Stupidity should be painful. Yeah, well, Neil, Lakeisha, I agree with you, but look who goes to prison for bank robbery. It's black man. Yeah. Well, it's the system. It's rigged at every turn to be against the black person and other people of color. It's disgusting. Michael, this was an interesting interview. Okay. Thank you for that. Thanks for telling what it is. And I'm going to try to take a look at that later on, probably this week, because anything you guys put in there, I'll try to take a look at because it matters. I want to know what you think's interesting and what you think matters. And please share this broadcast so that I don't know if you have any white friends who want to learn or white friends who need to learn. Share it. It's a conversation. I'm white. I'm talking about it. I'm alive. It's not killing me. And a lot of people in our audience are white, and they're doing what it takes because we need to talk about this in a heterogeneous setting. When white people talk about racism, if they ever do, which is very rare, they talk about it to other white people. How in the hell are we going to learn what's going on and the real plight of people of color, black people, indigenous people, African Americans, if we don't talk to them? It's not going to happen. and people like Trump and some of the extremely racist media, and it's going to keep happening. Mr. S.F. Black, welcome. Did you hear about the the Baton Rouge Police Department who disguised officers in blackface to sell drugs in black neighborhoods in a sting operation? Yes, I did. And that is something that I was talking about with my friend Neil earlier today. I did. And they said, oh, it's 25 years ago. Guess what? I don't care if it was 5 minutes ago or 1,000 years ago. It's wrong. It's disgusting. And I got this feeling, I actually want to know what you think. I got the feeling that the current man in charge of the department was disgusted. He sounded no nonsense. He sounded like he gets it. The person who at the time defended himself, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Mr. F.S. Black, it was done by the same police department responsible for the murder of, oh God, Alton Sterling. Oh my God, I did not realize that. I didn't put the two together. Thank you. If you have information that we need to know, bring it on. Yeah. When I read about the former police chief, the guy that defended it, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That's oh boy. It may be the understatement of the century to say that our current administration has made America's future very tenuous. As if the lying and the twisting and the false premises aren't enough. He's overwhelmed the general public by perpetuating and condoning stereotypes to elicit fear. And basically, he's rendered many people who don't know how to think for themselves kind of cultish. I mean, he's rendered them so that they literally will not listen to any other news. It's like having state-sponsored news, and that is like a cult. So tell me what you guys think. Tell me more. I want to know. Neil, while working undercover at a St. Louis protest, a Black officer, Detective Luther Hall, was beaten so badly by police that he couldn't return to work. It even resulted in an FBI investigation. Yep. He was an undercover police, and he didn't want to break his cover. He's a Black man. And he was literally beaten by the police because all they saw probably was another N-word. That's how they think about this kind of thing. Not all of them, but enough that it's killing people. And also, I'm sorry, you're in a police precinct and you see corruption? You bet. I mean, this blue line crap, what kind of crap is that? If you don't turn in people who are corrupt and un-American like the police, you might as well have done it yourself. I'm sorry. Sorry, that's just my opinion. Thanks, Nick. Yes. Yeah, the officers who beat him were white. Right. Exactly. They were white, of course. And I was in Compton during the Rodney King riots, the LA riots, which were, basically because of this total zero accountability for police. And people getting away with it. They are getting away with murder because they're police. We don't want to train them. We don't want to teach them anything about de-escalation, anything about cultural competency, but we do train them in one thing, and that's how to kill people. And I am not against police. And people can say I am. They can say whatever they want. I am for accountability. And police should want that too. Who wants their profession to be like this? If I was a police officer, I would so want training, and I would want all this stuff because it only is better for everybody. When I was a little kid, I was taught that police were our friends, because I'm white. It's pretty sick. Get back to the comments. Kitchen politics. Trump, what's she complaining about? We gave her a brown baby back. Trump supporters use something as Trump shields to stop immigration from crossing. Thoughts? Not 100% sure what you're saying. Oh, are you talking? Okay. I think I got it. Are you talking about Trump's aloof, insensitive, obnoxious behavior surrounding the children that he ripped out of the mother's arms and fathers at the border, and then arrested the fathers and mothers? A lot of fathers came over with their children and said that they were traffickers when they were their children. They arrested them and treated them like human traffickers when everybody knew that it was their kids. The sickest thing in the world. I saw an interview on that. It was disgusting. But my thoughts on that is that what they did there, and now they're adopting some of those children that didn't get tracked. Trump took children away from their parents and didn't keep track of where they were sent. And now he says it's too much trouble to keep track of where they're sent. So he's going to allow them to be adopted. He took people's children, their babies away, and he is sending them to other people to adopt. That is the sickest fucking thing that is just disgusting. That is one of the cruelest, sickest things I've ever heard of in my life. I mean, it's basically what they did to enslave people who were enslaved. They would rape them and take their babies away. So, I mean, this is unbelievable. I will stop ranting and freaking out. Yeah, if that's what you're talking about, yeah, I'm pretty much against that. Being sarcastic. Yes, I'm against that. But yeah, ask me more specifically, and I will definitely be happy to answer. Michael, this interview was Representative Alexandria. Oh, whoa, it just slipped. I just lost you. Sorry. The interview was, Representative Cortez asking simple questions and showing open corruption in the government. Yes, and I have the whole thing. I'm going to talk about it. Yes. Stevie, if a cop harms or kills a Black person in the UK, the cop will spend years in prison. Yeah, that's, it's kind of here. It's pretty much like they're applauded almost. Thank you for sharing that. I heard that the UK is years and years and years ahead, but then I also heard that there's also problems there too. So it's hard to, I've never lived there, but thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. There has to be accountability and training, and there isn't either. They can murder with impunity here. They literally need to have fear for their life and be considered to have been acting reasonably. Pretty much, a police can kill anyone they want then and get away with it. I mean, the bar is set so low. It's unbelievable. Mr. F.S. Black, I don't believe officers who play stupid when it comes to corruption to the police force. Oh, absolutely not. In this day and age? And absolutely not. 100%. And you know what? It makes it so much harder on the officers who actually are upstanding. It's sick. And you know what? It's totally purposeful. It is not an accident. We could give training. We could do social science has evolved. There's amazing training programs. There's Oakland, California. Great example. They've turned everything around and made it amazing. They're a model program now. Wouldn't want to follow them, would we? I mean, it's like we have the technology. We just don't want to use it. It's unbelievable. Let me see here. Kitchen politics. Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz. Ugh. Pushing for El Chapo to pay for stupid wall after drug lord's conviction. El Chapo is worth 14 to 20 billion. Thoughts? I think it's ridiculous. Kitchen politics. What do you guys think? Tell me. In my mind, absolutely it's ridiculous. But the more crazy thing is the wall is ridiculous. The wall is a symbol of white supremacy and racism. That's all he wants it for. It's ridiculous no matter who pays for it. It's ludicrous. How about we take, if we're going to take El Chapo's money, how about we put it for the people who are in need? All people in our nation and migrant people who are in need. How about we help people? Isn't that what it means to be human? That we call people the homeless. No, they're people who do not have a home because we are so greedy that we will not give them the services they need to become stable. People go to prison for drug addiction. It's because we are so greedy. We would rather make these people rot and destroy their lives and families and communities than give them help. It's unbelievable. Oh, I'm getting backed up here, but yeah, I thank you for that question, Kitchen Politics. It's Robert. The Bible is real. Zechariah, whose possessors slayed them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, "Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich," and their own shepherds pity them not. Can you translate that for people like me who do not follow the Bible at all, and I'm not religious, and I would hate to attempt to analyze that and interpret it wrong. If you have time, I would love you to be able to tell me what that means in, ignorant people's terms for me. So thank you, though. Don, thank you so much for being here. No, he's talking about the fact that they returned the wrong baby to one of the mothers. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for correct. I missed that. Please jump in and tell me about it. That's unbelievable, but believable. When I say unbelievable, I believe it. It's beyond human understanding. Someone to take your child away like they did to these people who have walked hundreds and thousands of miles away from countries that were destabilized because of our policies. But we're Americans. We don't take responsibility for our actions. Hell, we don't even admit to our actions. Thank you, Don. Please tell me more. Quentin, thank you for being here. Hello. Welcome. Kitchen Politics. Former astronaut Mark Kelly running for U.S. Senator in Arizona. He's a former, oh, right. He's, yes, Gabby Gifford's husband, who almost died because of the failed assassination attempt in McCain's old seat. I saw that. Interesting. Very interesting. They definitely have a big agenda with the, making sure that weapons there's some common sense gun laws. I know that. I don't know his complete agenda, but I did read about, obviously, he's very much on board for common sense gun laws. Thank you. Neil, any thoughts about Virginia Governor Ralph Northam confirmed Friday? He was in a racist yearbook photo showing one person dressed in blackface and the other person in a KKK white hood and robes, and he apologized. Yeah, and he won't quit. And he did apologize, but he won't quit. There's a lot going on in Virginia right now. Good point, Neil. Yeah, jump in, you guys. Tell me what you think, because we're going to get to that here, but I'm happy to talk about it earlier. Don, the wall, everyone is for border security, and both the Congress and Senate should agree on an effective course of action. A wall is not the answer. Don, you're amazing. That's why I want you on this show. I want you to come on and be a guest host, because you get it. The wall's not an answer. We have to at least pretend while Trump's in office that science is real. Like social science has come a long ways, and there's a lot of really important statistics that can help us. And if a wall isn't going to do anything, which based on Trump's own State Department, they say it's not, but I guess he doesn't read that. We have to try something else. No one's against security. We're just against doing ludicrous, racist things and being inhumane while we're doing them and spending gazillions of dollars, it's my favorite term, for something that basically Trump can put his name on and say, look what I did, aren't I great? He doesn't care about the people. He's a sicko. Let me see here. Don, there are drones, electronic surveillance, and other high-tech devices for a lot less money than an ancient wall. 100%. Yep. It's part of the problem. And Don, I don't know what you think of this, but the people surrounding Trump are people who are yes men and wealthy, white supremacist associated, every last one of them. And a lot of them don't believe in science. So he surrounded himself around people who just pretty much will not challenge them. Maybe they're afraid of him. I don't know. But clearly, it's not being, he surrounded himself, like, for example, people in charge of environmental were the people who ruin the environment. People in charge of schools and education are people who know nothing about schools and education. It's insane. So, Don, there are already air-conditioned light tunnels with rail systems under the existing walls. Thank you. Exactly. It's crazy. Don, the undisputed Great Wall of all time didn't stop Attila the Hun and many other Mongolian campaigns and is now just a tourist attraction. I work for a company in China, and we talk about that a lot, about I believe you're referring to the Great Wall. And yeah, I asked them, have they gone there? It's amazing. All amazing points. Oh, kitchen politics. You got nabbed by YouTube. Okay. Let me see. I will read what you said. Thoughts on Liam Neeson's admission that years ago he wanted to kill a black man because an unknown black man had raped a close female friend of his. Big backlash now. Stereotypes all black people as criminals. You guys talk about it amongst yourself. Oh, Al, hello. Thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome. I find it incredibly sad. I don't follow him. I don't follow pop culture, so I don't know who that is, but I did read about it. And I hate to say it, but that's just racist as fuck. Okay. That's obnoxious what he said. And it just shows his true sentiment. I mean, I'm sorry. You have to talk like that. You have to think like that. And to think like that, you have to feel like that. I hope that makes sense. This nation needs educating. Just another day in a land created for white supremacy. I guess that's what do you guys think? I mean, it's disgusting, but thank you. Stevie, I second that. What do you second? That's the hard part about this. I want to know what you second, but thank you for that. Don, you made amazing points. Maybe that's what he's talking about. This isn't rocket science. I mean, my God. I'm not a genius. I read things and analyze them and think, does that make sense? Robert, your message is held, and I'm going to cut it loose from, if it will let me. It is not letting me. Hang on one second. Okay. Maybe it will go through. I'm trying to get your message to show. I don't know if you can hear the click, but it's not doing it. All right. Hopefully that'll come through for Robert, because I want to read what you have to say, and I can barely read it. Okay. There we go. Zechariah 11:5 is saying that white people, possessors, can kill, rape, and rob and go through court, and we still find them not guilty, even if it's on camera. It's disgusting. Yeah, and it says that in the Bible? It says that it's bad, or it says that it's good. I'm sorry, I need like a Bible lesson, because I'm really, really not good with the Bible. But I know a lot of stuff in the Bible that says stuff like that, but I'm wondering, does it say that's okay? Or tell me more, I must learn. Thanks, Neil. In my opinion, Trump will settle for the deal that he is being presented with right now, I guess you're saying. He knows Congress will totally quit working with him, and he is so egotistical he wants to be reelected. Oh, does he ever? It's almost like he's out of touch with reality. He's done so many horrible, bad things. His first bad thing was running for president on a platform openly to take away the human and civil rights of our fellow humans. That's terrible. That's a terrible thing. Anyway, I'm blown away by him and his arrogance. But as I said, I mean, you were seconding. Thank you, Stevie. You were seconding Don's. Okay, I'm slow, but I get there. Thanks. Kitchen politics. China and Russia preparing to confront U.S. with weapons in outer space. Oh, geez. Space Force necessary or just a joke? That money can be used for education and healthcare for America. Thoughts? Personally, I leave that stuff up to the experts, and I don't think he does. Okay, that's like not really going out on a limb. I don't think he leaves it up to the experts. I think he is anti-science, and he truly is out of touch with reality. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be rude. It's just factual. This space, he's in a fantasy world. I want to ask him, what are the colors of the skies in your world? He's beyond out of touch. But yeah, you guys, tell me what you think. Kitchen politics, you are posing amazing questions. And you know what? If you want to jump in and say something about them, jump in and say, this is regards to, KP123 or whatever, because I want to hear what you guys think on all this. Bernard, hello. People need to understand that there's no white race, black race, Mexican race. It's a human race. Absolutely. And, when I work with white folks who are very, very naive and ignorant and sheltered and don't know this stuff, the number one thing I do, and this is going to sound so easy and basic, but it's not. I tell them race is a human construct. It's made up. There's no such thing. We're all the same race. A lot of people like to tell me I'm against my race, and I just kind of laugh like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start with these people. But I tell them that, and I teach them what a human construct is. And most of them don't know, and that's fine. And the reason I tell them that is because they need to sit and digest it. They need to understand that money is a human construct. Race is a human construct. Makeup and societal norms, those are all human constructs. And so once they kind of catch on to that, I can't just try to teach them the next step. They have to digest it. I don't know if it's evolutionary or what. So that's why it takes so long for us white people to get this. And we'll never get it. It's a lifelong commitment to caring about your fellow human. And I can't think of any better commitment on this planet. So it's scary. Thank you, Bernard. That was classic, awesome stuff. 123. Yeah, the Space Force is real. Neil, yeah, I think he knows that. Because I know you both. So I've talked to you both. But I think he's wondering, then thank you for that, Neil. Is it a joke or is he serious? I think he's serious, because if I thought that was a joke, then everything else he's ever said has got to be a joke. I just don't get it. Don, apparently he doesn't realize that the Air Force has a space command system. Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. He is so unknowledgeable and ignorant to some of the basic things. I mean, yeah, he wants to start a space force. We kind of have one. I mean, he wants to call it a space force to be cool. I don't know. Maybe he's watched too many, Marvel comic movies. I don't know. But awesome point, Don. And Don, I'm so thrilled you're here. You have no idea. Well, maybe you do. The things that Trump is proposing is this Space Force boondoggle are already in the mission statement of the Air Force's Space Command. And he's truly a megalomaniac, narcissistic, he's just, it's like he invented it. No, you didn't invent it. He just needs attention. But absolutely great points. Kitchen politics. Richard Nixon, wife beater? Reports came out recently that former disgraced president beat up Pat Nixon frequently. She went to the emergency room 4 times. He lost again to JFK in 1960. He beat her badly, allegedly. I don't know anything about that. I have not heard it. You guys feel free to talk amongst yourselves. That is a huge allegation. I want to know what I'd have to know what paper was making it, but I hope that's not true, but I know you're pretty good with your research. So definitely I'll be looking that up. That's really sad. I think as certain things are allowed to go into the public eye is getting to see them, we're learning more and more. And a lot of people are leaking things too. But as documents get, allowed to be opened and whatnot. Yeah, I did not hear that. But thank you for that information. I'd like to hear more about that. Kitchen politics with David. Exactly. Okay. Got it. Trump is a damn fool. It pains my heart. It's awful. Madam Kimberly, thank you so much for understanding. Oh, you never need to thank me, Stevie. It's the least I can do is to be real and speak the truth. And it is my honor to speak the truth. And I will never stop till my last breath, because in my mind, not to go on a rant, in my mind, systemic racism is a crime against humanity that is perpetuated by white people. And it is the worst, most horrific thing humankind has ever done. And it's just my opinion, but I feel it in my heart. When I was 6 years old, I didn't know what it was. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what it was. I knew something was very, very wrong. And it took me a long time. I was 12. I kind of caught on. Then when I was 18, I started to, life isn't supposed to be like this. I know it isn't in my heart. It's not, it's like something went crazy wrong. This is not the way we treat our fellow humans. But it's not like rocket science, but I'm just saying, I feel that, but thank you. Let me see. Thank you, Stevie, for saying that. That's very sweet of you. Neil, President Donald Trump announced during a meeting with the National Space Council, June 18th, 2018, it will be the 6th armed branch of with the Navy, Army, Marine Corps. I don't know why he did that. Don, you know a lot about this. Maybe, and Neil, you do too. So I don't know. He truly is a freaking imbecile. I don't know what he's trying to do, but kitchen politics, joke question. How come there aren't any Republicans in Star Trek? Answer, because it's in the future. Very good. Thank you, kitchen politics. Very cute. Don, scientifically speaking, racists don't realize that eye color is more significant a biological differentiating element than skin color. They don't get it. That's a really great point. Scientifically speaking, exactly. There are more differences between so-called races than within the actual races. The whole thing was made up so we can have white supremacy. Basically, it's a great point. Don. Jamie, yay! Thank you for being here. I'm excited to have you. God, this is awesome. I'm so pleased that people are here tonight, and jump in and talk about any subject you want and talk amongst yourselves, and please share this. I want to make a difference, and that's what this is for. Lisa, hi from California. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. I'm actually from California. That's awesome. Jump right in. Don't be shy. This show is for everybody, and it doesn't matter if you're really knowledgeable or medium knowledgeable or not knowledgeable at all. I want to hear what you have to say, and you matter. So jump on in. So, one of the things that I was talking about with a friend earlier today was that all these things that Trump's saying, he's against science, he's against this, the people who follow his tenets of, non-scientific everything, this is their reality. And the uneducated white folks are sold on his BS. And it's the BS the ultra wealthy are selling. And these white folks will actively campaign against their own best interest. They vote against their own best interest because they believe in they're believing in wealthy, greedy people over humanists and over people who are going to help them, like free college. Oh, wouldn't want that. The white masses wouldn't want that. That's socialist stuff. I mean, give me a break. The white masses would benefit from free college. The New Green Deal would be great for them. But we'll have none of that retraining into fields that are green oriented. None of that. We want to stick with coal and, basically coal and no health care so we can destroy our lungs. And, it's like free health care, no huge deductibles, no copays, no bankrupting. Wouldn't want that. I mean, it's unbelievable how people will work against their best interest. That sounds too much like socialism. It's amazing. They have been conned. And century after century, they're conned. Kitchen politics. FDR won World War II, legalized beer, and created Social Security. How could you say that? That's socialism. Sorry. I'm kidding, of course. Trump, I'm the best POTUS ever. This is why we can't have nice things. We went from quality and class leadership to a completely clueless asshole. Yes. You can say that again. Neil, Don, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not sure of my eye color. LOL. Very good. Don, uneducated people like their information in C-spot run format and don't trust what they don't understand. You are absolutely 100% spot on. And as a teacher, a former teacher, and somebody who went into teaching because I love teaching people, I have to say, the people have to be at a certain level where they want to learn. And with Trump, false news, false this, his state-sponsored station, his state-sponsored news, him following basically what all good dictators do by illegitimizing the press and all this stuff. He is again and again and again telling these people, don't learn science. And then it's so crazy. He's playing into it by spewing fake science to them. But it's this fake science that kind of sounds intuitive in a way if you don't know anything about science. So, God, you got me started here. So yeah, exactly. They don't get it, so they don't trust it. Why not take a minute and learn it? These people aren't stupid people. They have high IQs. They've been bamboozled. I mean, fabulous points, Don. Don, so when Republicans say, see snake, snake kill, make America great again, or we want our country back, that's as deep as their comfort zone will take them, and they roll with it. Fantastic point. Fantastic point. It's true. And I don't know how to make somebody want to learn. I don't. I mean, they have to at least, even in the very enclosed, very controlled groups that I run for beginners, for majority group members who are beginners, they still have to want to learn. We get people, if they don't, they're not ready. They have to, there's just a certain point they have to be at, and it's not there for these guys. They don't want to know. I don't get it. Robert, I hate when people say there is no black, white, Mexican race, etc. If it's in that case, why do they make Jesus white and Egyptian, Indians and everything white then? Everything else white. It's a strange dynamic. I know what you're saying, Robert, and I don't want to misrepresent what you're saying. So if this is not what you're saying, please jump right in and tell me. I'm okay with being wrong. I do it every day. It's a weird thing. The way I look at it is race is a human construct. The simpletons who want white supremacy have created and then uncreated, like people who were Mexican used to be considered white, Latino, or whatever, or Hispanic were considered white when they needed them to be considered white. So it is a fluid thing used for racism. Are there certain cultures? Absolutely. But people are simple, and they see, I can color code these people, what they don't get is where does it stop? I know Black people who are whiter than me. Are they not Black? Or, I mean, it's the amount of activated melanin in your skin. So it's just a very complex thing. We use it because people use it, and that's the words that they have. But it really is a human construct. It doesn't mean that there aren't those groups, but the way they're using them is not working, and is incorrect. So I don't know if I'm touching upon what you're saying or not, or just kind of screwing up here, but you can let me know. So yeah, I could see that being upsetting. Don, complex words, concepts, situations, multiple variables, all moving at different speeds at the same time. Get them confused, angry, hating, feeling small or left out. You said it all. You said it all. And, you know, it's kind of interesting. What he does is exactly that, by having so much havoc going on. And then he'll throw out, a wall is just like a wheel. And they're like, yeah, a wall's like a wheel. Like they buy into what I call, they refuse to do any underlying thinking, below the surface thinking. If you've never seen a fish in your life and you go to the ocean, you're not going to see a fish. You're standing on the sand looking at the ocean. You've never seen a fish in your life. You can say, I don't see any fish. Okay. Surface level thinking. Maybe there's a little more you have to delve in. Maybe you need to go in. Maybe you need to have a goggles on. Maybe you see what I'm saying? They cannot, part of it, I mean, there's a reason people get higher education, and part of it is to teach them how to think. And a lot of the folks, you either do it on your own, which millions of people do it on their own, or you go to college and do it, but you got to do it. Otherwise, you end up not analyzing and not literally believing anything. Sounds good to me. They don't think. Sorry, I'm like ranting and raving. Done. Fantastic points. Yeah, America's future, Michael. Yeah. Kitchen politics. What has been Kremlin Barbie Eve? Oh, yeah. Been up to recently. Her husband recently got his upgraded security pass against objections of security professionals who has been suspended without pay. Yeah, I haven't been following that. You know, we're going to get into a little bit of stuff tonight about some people who are changing and shaking up things, and I think we'll talk about that. It's a good point. Don, and just wanting to get their gun out and shoot the problem, but it's not it, right. Yep. It's like simplistic thinking, I guess, but I'm not trying to put them down. I want to help them. I don't know how. If they don't want to listen because they're hurt. And that's why I'm always saying, talking about our real racial history is history. It's not about us. We didn't do it. So we should be okay with talking about our real racial history. That was done by other people. I mean, some people's ancestors really did do it, but a lot of them didn't. You know, people who've come here, you know, here and there. And the thing is, by making it about them, they shut themselves down, and guaranteed they'll never get there. So that's the hard part. That, yeah, they want to shoot the problem. Good, great point. Don, I've met poorly educated people that love diversity. Unfortunately, they are much smaller in number than the ones that just want to hate what they don't understand. Absolutely. Some of, you know, it's kind of funny. The whole education thing, I come from kind of a family of educational snobs. And so I try to work hard against it. Because one of my closest girlfriends is one of the most brilliant people I've ever known in my entire life. And sure, sampling of one, she didn't go to college. College isn't the end all. It's what college can give you, or you can give it to yourself. I know people who are brilliant impoverished. They're online all day. They go to the library and they're learning. I mean, there's no anyone in this day and age who doesn't learn is purposefully not learning. They don't want to. The information is there. So great points. Michael, he could have been a contender. Burnett Morris. I'm just trying to make sure I'm reading your name right. Little contact lens problem here. Why don't they, thank you for being here. Why don't the mainstream media not report the news of people of color and not like your own, like my show does? That is a fantastic question. And part of it is because they're all about money. They're all owned by like, it's a corporation. It's a giant corporation. And anyone else want to jump in? That's a fantastic question. Like the Young Turks do all the time. These newer stations that are not newer, but they're coming up and they're saying, we're done with this. And like my goal is to report news and information that's real and that is not being talked about or is flying under the radar. With Trump right now, it's so hard to keep up. I know that, but I don't know why they do it. And I'm going to say for money. And you know why I'm going to say for money? It's because that's what racism is all about. It's for money. They want to get it's not about integrity. It's not about personal integrity or honesty anymore. And I don't know if it ever was. I don't know, but I sure as hell know it's not now. So that's kind of what I think. Great question. Thank you I'm really happy you're participating. That's an excellent question. Burnett Morris, there is not more news. It's opinion. Unlike, oh, thank you, Neil. What a very sweet thing to say. See, a lot of people, I think what Neil's trying to say, and I'll speak for you, Neil, if you don't mind, is that people always say to me personally, like, oh, that's just your opinion. And actually, most of it isn't, because my opinion is based on what I try to do. And my opinion changes too, because it's not my opinion. It's based on the best technology and science, social science and science that's available. And I go with the stats and I check them 3 times. And these are, to me, these are the best facts we have now to work with. And when I find something, for example, the other day, I found a statistic that said that Black people are getting into medical school ahead of white people with better grades. Guess what? It's true. Okay. With better scores altogether. And I was like, And that was I thought, oh, great, propaganda. But I kept seeing it and I looked and I thought, I'm going to find out why. Once again, I dug deep, and I'm not a rocket scientist. I want to learn. You don't have to be super, super smart to do this. Lo and behold, I looked into it and I thought, because I found out that statistically speaking, a lot more Black people were getting into medical school, which is awesome. And the white people said it wasn't fair and that they're getting in because they're Black. No, they're not. Nice try. They can say that, but it's not true. I looked into it and guess what? All of the head of the agency that takes care of medical schools admissions and stuff like that, they have been doing research on studies that showed getting into medical school had nothing to do if you were Black or white. It had to do with how rich you were, because people who were getting in over other people were wealthy. And that was the only criteria that worked every time. So they changed their standards. So now medical schools are taking these tests like GRE and stuff like that, and the MCATs and they're not weighing them as much, because wealthy white kid over here, he took a $3,000, and I am not exaggerating, a $3,000 class, and he upped his scores 25 points. Where brilliant kid over here who didn't have those economic means ends up not Not because he's not smart. He didn't take the class. So, I mean, there's a reason. People need to dig, and you'll find the reasons. And they usually make sense. Let me just see. See, I'm blabbing again. Kitchen. Yeah, I saw that joke too. Kitchen politics. Donald Trump is 72, and the 7 is silent. It's the way he acts a lot of time. Don, fake news, faux news, and entertainment doesn't meet Canada's truth laws and must call themselves entertainment and pay an extra fee to broadcast there. I did not know that. That is amazing information. And Don, what do you think? I mean, the fairness doctrine, I'm curious to ask Don and everybody, what do you think about the fairness doctrine ending? Do you think that's what created Fox News and all of the inability to speak the truth in news broadcasting and twisting things? And I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen a news piece and gone, oh, and then I'm like, calm down, calm down. You'll be researching this. And then I researched it and I think, you know what? It was kind of twisted. It was a little twisted. Okay, well, maybe it was a lot twisted. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Don, the U.S. used to have a similar law until Ronald Reagan removed, that's it, the fairness doctrine. Yep. He removed the fairness doctrine. And so I guess that's your answer, maybe. Don, 26 years through several Democratic and Republican administrations, the KKK and neo-Nazi groups have been on the terrorist watch list. Trump took them off. Of course he did. He doesn't want to think of himself as a terrorist. It's disgusting. Everybody knows in this nation, the number one problem we have is a white problem. I'm not blaming individual white people. We have a white problem in America, and it is a really bad one. And I'm not happy saying that, but it's the truth. I mean, I try to tell the truth in most of my life, so why would I stop now? It's the truth, and it's hard to take, but it's the truth. We don't have a Black person problem here. In my opinion, every single problem that has befallen the Black community, it's us. We've done it. We've done it to them. White supremacy. I mean, just my opinion, but Anton, yay, thank you for being here. Hello. Oh, I can't read that. Anton, you have to, I can't read it, but everyone else can. Thank you for being here. You're going to get me in trouble. Neil, thank you, Don, for reminding us about the Reagan moving the truth laws. Yeah, they used to have a balance. Yep, absolutely. Robert, they do not report on people of color because it doesn't fit their narrative. Dare them to have a good image of people of color. Right. Oh, God, when a Black person or a brown person or Indigenous person does something great, like remember that kid who like he was a hero. He tackled some gun person in one of those restaurants. There's barely coverage. I mean, this is purposeful. Sometimes people go like, oh, it's not a conspiracy theory, but like sometimes it is. And it is. Our Constitution was not made for Black people. It was made for white supremacists to do well. White people. And that's why it needs dismantling. And I want to get into some of the meat of this because I could rant on forever. But what I wanted to say is here's a quick list of topics that I came up with, and some of them are really interesting. This week, I thought I wasn't able to find great stuff, but Elizabeth Warren's challenge to all 2020 presidential candidates, Virginia's officials, blackface incidences left and right, plus some other really out there stuff. Racist corporations this month really did their thing with their products. There was a document leaked indicating this week that Trump's purposely orchestrated, like we didn't know, orchestrated the humanitarian crisis at the border to get his wall. And this document, at first I was skeptical, but it was by a senator. He showed it, and what he also did was he printed it, It's online. You can read and it's really long. I don't know how he got it, but Trump has purposely orchestrated this. This was the plan all along. And what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start reading some more comments in a minute, but I wanted to say there's a new addition I'm going to add a new addition to this. It's called Quick and Dirty News. And it's going to be 1 or 2 liners after the live show every week, where I'm going to just a 1-minute spiel of things that flew under the radar, because there's so much going on with Trump's distractions. It's hard to keep up. And so what I was hoping is that people would throw me things all week so I can put them in things that we can't discuss because it's just not enough time. Don, Professor Jane Elliott illustrates it best. Every right person that doesn't mind being exactly, you stole my favorite saying, exactly, doesn't mind being treated like a Black person, please stand up. No one stands. And she says, why are you all tolerating she says, it's really kind of funny. Why are you tolerating a problem you know exists and you know it didn't want to happen to you? Absolutely. She sits there and she says, she's the person who I originally was taught a ton by when I was 17. She's been around so long, and she's ruthless, she's brutal. I'm scared of her, but she gets it and she speaks the truth. And she's amazing. And you know what? She's the one, if people don't know of her, the Blue Eyes, Brown Eyes experiment she did, which helped make her well-known and also gave her a lot of grief. But she did something amazing, and it's a system. It's going to take more than somebody telling the truth. It's going to take so many people just saying it over and over and over. And that's why I blab all the time. All I do is talk about white supremacy. That's all I do. I talk about a real racial history. I talk about what white people should do. And it's not because I think they're saviors. But my God, you don't stand there and watch somebody slowly drowning, your fellow human, and go, I didn't shove him in, so what? Or I didn't build the pool. Of course not. So why do we watch this disgusting systemic racism in a society that boasts liberty and justice for all and just watch it? It's disgusting. I'm talking to myself. Okay, I will stop. But yes, I love her. And I think I skipped. No, I did not skip. Done. Right. So she's always saying, people say, I just want to talk a little bit more about this. People say, like, oh, I don't see racism. Yeah, you do. All you have to do is ask a white person, how would you like to be treated the way we treat Black people in America? That's all you have to ask. But this person doesn't see racism. Yeah, they do. They do. That's what I love about her. They do. That's all you have to ask somebody who is a denier. We're in a post-racist era. Yeah, right. For them, they're white. Like crazy. Thank you, Don. I love that lady. Kitchen politics. It is so cold that Elizabeth Warren, cold? Pretending to be an Eskimo, go Elizabeth Warren. I do not get that. Explain more. Explain more. I'm not 100% sure what you're saying. I wanted to, so we have the document leaks and this quick and dirty news is going to be a 1 minute worth of stuff. If you want to research it, do it. And it's going to be a separate, just a little thing I'm going to try to do. So while you're thinking of more things you want to talk about, I want to talk about Elizabeth Warren. I am not pro-Elizabeth Warren. I am not anti-Elizabeth Warren. But she did something that I think is amazing and awesome, and I wanted to talk about it really fast and see what you guys think. I wanted to start by talking about what Elizabeth Warren did, kicking off her 2020 presidential campaign. Elizabeth Warren got on camera, and she said, I'm going to be running for the 2020 presidential race, and I promise to not take a single dime from PAC money, not a single check from federal lobbyists, and then she's not taking applications for a super PAC on her behalf. And I thought that was awesome. Okay, that should be expected by everybody, but it's not, and it's not right. Senator Warren challenged every single person who's running for the 2020 presidency to do the same thing. And she got on there and just like a just a 3-minute quick thing. And she challenged every single voter to not give their vote to a candidate that is bought. And that's something I can get behind. The system is corrupt. We don't have to allow it to stay corrupt. Sorry for my little spiel. I'm preaching to the choir here. But Neil, it would be interesting if the white people were honest and they said they were not racist, but walked around with their yes, thank you. It walked around with their KKK outfits on. I think we'd be surprised how many people would be involved. Neil, is what you're saying that people are in such denial, and if they would be really honest and we could see a badge of what they really thought, there'd be a lot of hoods out there. And if I'm wrong, tell me. But I think that's kind of what you're saying, that a lot of white folks are looking for the old-fashioned, the burning crosses, and these people are wearing ties. There are judges, there are teachers, there are doctors, there are politicians. Oh God, are there are politicians. So absolutely, great point. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Robert, the only way white supremacy will end is white people must call out white people. Oh my gosh, that is what I'm all about. But they will not, because they will lose their power and think black people will do to them what they did to. Exactly. 100%. Robert, you get the comment of the night. Yep. In one of my videos on YouTube, I said, it's almost as if white people think that when our nation turns mostly people of color and not as white, that they'll do what we did to them. It's like, it's unbelievable. Oh, Neil, thank you. Yes, that is what you're saying. Thank you. Good, 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 good. Yeah, so Robert, 100%. What I do when I teach white people, if there's people who are white listening who aren't like really, really on top of this topic right now and they want to learn, the number one thing you can do if you're white, and this is what I tell white people, is to learn all of the classic cliche denials of racism. And there's a finite number. I mean, I haven't heard, once in a while someone will come up with something new, but not really. It's all the same stuff. It's about like 20 top ones. Learn what those are and learn how to debunk them in an understandable way. Learn how to talk about racism. And when someone brings it up, and they always do, you can feel confident in saying, well, you know what, and explain to them. And if every white person in America did that right now, just think how helpful that would be. Never stand and do nothing while your fellow human is being disparaged and discriminated, and while racism is being perpetrated. If they just would learn these 20 plus, ludicrous lies, they don't have to even learn much. Lisa, thoughts on Marianne Williamson's platform for reparations? Lisa, is that the woman who is absolutely opened it up with reparations, and she wants $1 million every 10? Like, is that the woman? Tell me if that's the woman. If that is the woman, I was like, wow. I'm just thrilled that awesome. I saw that and I was like, whoa, that is awesome. I think it's awesome. I mean, I don't think she's going to win, but I was thrilled. This is a lady who was she blew me away. Like, I would like to read her book. She blew me away. What do you think, Lisa? That's more important. What do you think of her? I saw her and I was like, my God, she gets it. And part of the problem, Lisa, in my mind, knowing white people like I do, is that 50% of adult white people in America today think they're the ones that are being discriminated against. They think they're the ones that are being, they reverse racism. I mean, they are so out of touch. When we talk about reparations, first of all, most white folks don't know what the word means. I'm just saying. I mean, I know that sounded mean, but I don't mean it. It's not in their Yep, she's all about collective country healing. I thought she was amazing. It was so interesting, and thank you so much for asking about that. And I'm just, phew, I knew what you were talking about, but she was amazing. She is, sadly, she's a humanist. We're not there yet. It's pathetic. We're not there yet, and that makes me so sad. Yes, that was it. 10 billion a year for 10 years. Thank you. Oh, good. I was spot. Okay. Yeah, she was not playing. She was not. You think, Lisa says, I think it's amazing. I do too. That's what we need. We need more people, not just white people, everybody. But see, white people have their privilege. They're not going to have, for the most part, horrible things happen to them for saying this kind of stuff, saying the truth. So I don't think that anybody who's Black or a person of color has any responsibility to teach the oppressor. That's ludicrous. But some people actually enjoy teaching. And if they do, that's great. But it is white people's responsibility to teach other white people. We did this, and we need to end it. And it is going to be a struggle because wealthy white politicians and the 1% elite are not going to go watch Trump. He's one of them. They are not going down without this is their nation. This has been going on for centuries. There is a theory that I talked to my Dr. Cindy, who is sometimes here, and it's a theory that I read about, and it says that the Revolutionary War, everyone says, taxation without representation and, all that stuff. There's a theory, and it's pretty strong, and I was reading about it, and it is a theory saying that England was starting to stop slavery, and that might have been a motivation as well. I mean, at least part of it. So I'm talking white supremacy is in our nation's DNA. And I don't mean it literally, obviously. It's learned. But I'll tell you, this nation was built for it. Chet. Chet says, hi, Chet. Yes, Lisa, that would be nice. Oh, God. Black people were tormented for crimes against humanity for centuries. Some of the cruelest, most white folks don't even know about it. Yet they don't get reparations. My God, it's unbelievable. It's the lies. It's unbelievable. Let me read some people's stuff. And I'll shut up here. Kitchen Politics wants 40 acres and a mule, plus $10 billion, of course. She's all about collective healing, and she has a lot of social media followers and could drive the conversation. Yeah, I would love to be able to talk to somebody like her. I would love it. I was like hypnotized when I saw her. I was like, I'd never seen her before. I was kind of hypnotized. I'm so happy you brought that up, Lisa. Thank you. Robert, this is the thing that people miss all the time. You cannot put someone in their condition, then turn around and blame them for being in that condition. Racism is about power and control, and to control who has it. Yeah, that's the thing. I think for me personally, and not to try to make it all about me, this white privileged person, but I can only speak for my emotions. When I hear people saying things like Black people are lazy, they're welfare, I start to understand what turns Mr. Fist into Mr. Throttle. That enrages me. And when people listen to me instead or more than the people who are living it themselves, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Let me see here. Where are we? Yep, Robert, you're such a great contributor to this show, because what you're saying, it just rings so true and people relate to it. Lisa, she wants the money to be given to Black leaders to spend as they see fit. Is that what does she want it to black leaders, or is she, see, I never read deep into her stuff because I was trying to prepare for this week's show. So I couldn't like get too into it, but I definitely will. And any information you have, bring it on. I want to read it to everybody. Neil, Lisa, I agree, but I would be afraid Congress would veto the whole idea. Yeah, if we could ever get her, I mean, right now, that's the thing. As I said before, 50% of white adults today think we're in a post-racial era. So, I mean, the denial is, it's like reparations. They don't even think it's real. It's just crazy. We're working against a machine, a system of white supremacy. And being, like I tell white folks, it's lovely to be nice to everybody, but it's not enough. It's not enough. You have to learn, educate yourself. Someone says something, you call them out. You don't have to be horrible and mean and cruel, but you have to be ready and well-spoken enough as a white person to get it and get comfortable to do it too. You've got to educate yourself, because we're not going to save anybody. Black folks are saving themselves. But God forbid we speed up the process a little by helping out and supporting. That's just my take. So the iconic 220. How old are you? Me? None of your damn business. Sorry. I'll tell you in private. I'm very ancient. Let me see. Okay, I'll tell you right now. I'm 80. I just look really good for my age. Just kidding. I'm not telling you on this show. Let me see if that was to me. Lisa, same about hypnotized. Yeah, it's amazing. She thinks white people should not have a say in the money. Absolutely not. See, here's the thing. White folks shouldn't have say in the money. They shouldn't. Because, see, we are the oppressor. Why would you give the oppressor a say in the money? I mean, yeah, definitely not. Absolutely not. Nope, not our, I mean, white folks are not the leaders. We can support. We don't lead. We support. And we educate other white people. We had our chance centuries ago. We blew it horribly. Yeah, totally. Great topic, Lisa. Thank you so much. Kitchen politics. Would it be better to improve affirmative action and kill systemic racism than reparations? Give real opportunities to Black and other minorities, and then give proper health care and education. Sure, absolutely. And that's not my place as a white person to comment on. However, to be noted, the systemic racism has to be destroyed. Reparations, great, awesome. I absolutely am personally, absolutely. But the bottom line is, this is a system. We also need to, I don't think they're mutually exclusive, but it needs to be, this is an evil system of greed and hate. It has to be dismantled. So I'm totally pro. Yep, smash the system, Lisa. Absolutely. Great comments. Okay, so Elizabeth Warren is challenging us as voters to don't give your vote to somebody who's bought, unless they're bought by the people. The rich people, they're not better than us. They don't deserve to be richer while everyone else struggles their entire life to make ends meet and dies of curable diseases because going to the hospital is so expensive that they wait and wait and wait and don't see a doctor till it's too late. It's too late. You die of something curable. What do you guys think about encouraging what she said? I'm not a big advocate or against her, but when somebody says something that makes sense, I want to share it. So I have a question for people who are watching. What do you guys think? And this is I really need your opinion. So don't be shy if you're watching. What do you think about all this blackface BS that's going on in Virginia and all over our country? White America just doesn't get it. And if you are new to this problem, apparently Ralph Northam governor of Virginia was outed for having a picture in his medical school yearbook showing him wearing blackface in his, in the yearbook. And the only reason they were looking into him further was because of some other stuff that's going on about abortion and whatnot. But he admitted that he claimed, he said, oh, that was me, that wasn't, he went back and forth, and then he finally said, well, I had in the past worn blackface. And I mean, I'm sorry, Ralph, let's be real. You allowed a picture to be in your yearbook of pure evil and hatred. So don't tell me you don't know who you were and who was what. Just come on. It's like people's IQ just drop when they get accused of stuff. And I don't get it. I mean, they're in denial. So this is not something you forget. I'm just not buying it. So, and then more Virginians, his potential successor is having some problems, being accused of sexual allegations. And then the next guy in line ends up admitting, I too was in blackface. I'm going to say the Commonwealth of Virginia is having a really rough time. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me read some stuff. Let me see. Lisa. Regarding Elizabeth Warren, she could have supported Bernie with no corporate. Instead, she chose Hillary. Yeah, that was interesting. Great point. I don't know if she's learned. I don't know. That's a very good point. Thank you. It was quite bizarre. Kitchen politics. Do you think there will be another revolution in America? It seems to be heading that way, as the federal deficit is now 22 trillion. Yeah, I read that. I can't even comprehend that number. Rich getting richer and the rest of us suffering. Thoughts? I thought about that today a lot, and I think about it a lot. What do you guys think? I mean, I think we're starting to come to the point where, I'm sorry, Trump and his clan have been in there way longer than I think most people expected. What did you guys think he'd still? Checks and balances. Boy, we're lucky we have the judiciary, because, boy, it's really it's getting scary. He's finding ways to get around all these things that were meant to have like a president who actually cares about the people. So he's finding loopholes and everything and twisting, and listen to him with his wall that he wants, how he's going to take money from this and that. It's terrifying. But yeah, it's definitely when people have nothing left to lose. And the wealthiest people who run our nation are not going down without a fight. They're not. So, yes. And then again, historically speaking, kitchen politics, that's what happens to nations at around the 200th plus year. Unchecked wealthy people. This is supposed to be, I just read about this. It's supposed to be classic. And I don't know much about the historical, ways that nations turn and this, but supposedly that's what could happen, is we either have a revolution or we become democratic socialists, or something changes. Something's going to change. The middle class is going away. People are working very hard for very little. So, Neil, you got something held for review. I agree. White people are lazy, and in my area, they won't even work for $13 an hour. But Black people are working for $8 an hour. I think it proves who really wants to work. Absolutely. The propaganda is surreal. Great point. Kitchen politics. Choosing Hillary was a matter of political survival, Lisa. For Lisa, that's his opinion. Yeah. Okay. That's what you think. Kitchen politics. The Clintons are extremely powerful. Trust me when I say that. Okay. Lisa says, I know. Just replying to the non-corporate position. Yeah, I got it. Cluster in North 5. Lisa, I don't want to misinterpret what you're saying. So tell me more, because I'm not sure what that means. I'm the first to admit I know nothing. Lisa, Democrats, damn if Northam quits and if the government quits, power turned over to the Republic. Yeah, see, Virginia is a bit of a mess. There's a lot going on, and it's just an expression of the whole. I think that they're just a microcosm of the whole nation, really. Don't you guys? I mean, nothing left to lose. They will, oh, Lisa, thank you. They will keep everyone on simmer, not allowing a lot of growth. And if Donald Trump gets second term, all hell will break loose. Yep, totally agree. Yeah, we have a monster in our White House. He's a white supremacist. He is cruel. He is sick. And I'm talking about stuff he did before he was even considered as president. What he did to the Central Park Five was unconscionable. It's disgusting. It was barbaric. Sorry, rampage there. Yep. Kitchen politics. 2.1 trillion, the 1% saves the tax loopholes and offshore banking, dummy corporations are a dime a dozen to. Source, Forbes magazine. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's I don't know about you guys, but I never thought in my lifetime this is how it's going to be. I mean, not in a million years. I never thought this nation was doing well with its systemic racism, but I thought we were snails pacing it slowly in the right direction. And I got to hand it to Trump. I thought he'd take us back 15 years, 50 years or so. I thought he would be horrific. And he is so much worse than I ever imagined. I didn't know, I believed him when he said when he decided and told everyone he's running his campaign, basically a platform based on taking away the human and civil rights of my fellow humans. When I heard him say that, he didn't really say that, but he basically did. I was like, oh my God. And what I say about the followers of Trump is he had him at racist. The minute they found out he was racist as hell, that's all that mattered. He was right. He could have shot someone in New York City in midday. He had them at racist. Finally, they had someone in their life that got it, that they are white supremacists. And now this man, oh my God, sorry, I never shut up. Okay. Neil, I've heard of Al Jolson, who was a white entertainer who sang and colored his face black. In the entertainment field, it is more common, but it doesn't bother the people who follow the so-called stars. Yeah, that's a really good point. I don't know about that. Blackface. Good point, Neil. It's not rocket science, for God's sakes. And I was going to talk a little bit about that for people who don't know about it. Blackface. They think that black people are a plaything or a costume, not real humans, no feelings. They are just black people. Who cares? 3/5 of a person. It's in the Constitution. It's still in the Constitution. It's like, right. They want to dehumanize and belittle. And it's horrible. When I think of this blackface thing, my God, what is it to not get? I don't understand. Let me see here. Kitchen Politics is saying Al Jolson was when? The 1920s. Oh, please, not a good analogy, Neil. Come on, bro. Yeah, Neil says, I respect your opinion, Kitchen Politics. Kitchen Politics, I was wrong back then. It was wrong back then as it is now. I respect your opinion too, Neil. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I mean, I get what both you're saying. It's Lisa, has anyone seen the Sam Cooke movie on Netflix? If so, thoughts? Lisa, you are amazing. Thank you. I'm so happy you're here. You have no idea. And everybody. I haven't, but jump in and say, I was talking just a little bit more about the blackface thing. I got to tell you, these people, I mean, it's like, please, would anyone else like to stand up and say they put blackface on? please stand up now. What is wrong with people? My kids asked me, they said back in, because they like think I'm really old and stuff, because I kind of am. They go, Mom, was that a thing back then? Like, would that have been okay? And I'm like, no, oh my God, no, that would not have been okay. Absolutely not. So, I mean, it's never okay. It's not okay. And, it's just crazy. Like another story broke out that the yearbook of the book that we were saying earlier, the Baton Rouge, Louisiana police officers were dressed in blackface for this undercover thing. And despite the actual person who is in charge of that police department now saying, absolutely condemning it, the mayor condemned it, everyone did. The police chief and the city mayor were like, this is disgusting. But the former Baton Rouge police chief at the time that this was going on, he said he totally rejects the term blackface. Well, you know what? In relation to the pose, he doesn't get to reject he doesn't get to reject it. He's a white guy. It's not his place. He should really stay in his lane. Clearly, he has learned nothing. Let me see. Lisa, thank you. You're on fire. Thank you. You are too. You're awesome. Antoine, you are not going to say that thing okay. Bottom line, at the end of the day, it's all about weaponry. Ain't nobody trying to get, especially by dumbass cops. Okay, so is this what you're saying? Tell me if I'm right. Anton, are you saying that, okay, I'm going to say this probably wrong, that it's being shot and killed is the point, and people are dying. And it's not just racism and discrimination. People are dying. They're being killed because of white people's thoughts that turn to their feelings, that turn to thoughts, that turn to action and discriminate and don't say things and don't speak up and don't stop the system of white supremacy. Robert, 1920, 2019, nothing's changed. I know. Anton, absolutely. Okay, good. I just want to make sure. Wouldn't want to speak for somebody if I'm saying the wrong thing, but it's disgusting. It's history. White folks need to learn. We need to learn our own history. And you know what? It's a barbaric, ugly history. It's the sickest thing I've ever read about. But for God's sakes, it's our history. And it pertains to absolutely everything we have done and everything that has divided our country right now. This stuff didn't end. You really think the South was going to say, oh, okay, we lost the war, we're going to be human now? Sorry, Southern people. And I know that a lot of Southern people weren't like that, but most of them were. And you know what? They weren't going to let a law tell them that they couldn't own a human. They weren't going to let a law tell them that they had to treat somebody like a human. No way. The minute the 1877 compromise, that was it. They got to go back to having black codes and basically making it illegal to live while black. So anyway, I am on a rampage. Okay. Anton, absolutely. And Lisa, certain American lives are being devalued. Oh, yes. And my favorite saying, which I always get wrong, is by Dr. Paul Cook, who went around the world and spent lots of time in Africa and different nations and different continents. And he said that the idea that some groups are less important than others is the root of all that is wrong in the world. And I learned that saying when I was little, and I absolutely believe it. There is nothing that is untouched by racism, bigotry, and inequality. Nothing. Lisa, they want to desensitize this they want us desensitized to the slaughter. Yep. It's unbelievable. And unfortunately, money rules in this nation, and the wealthiest people have it in their best interest to have this go on. I could just talk all night. Don't hate me for it. I could talk all night because this is just so important. I wanted to briefly talk about why blackface is so incredibly offensive. Because there are white folks who are like, huh? I don't get it. Well, see, here's the problem. If you're white, you don't have to get it. You just have to not do it. And I don't mean that rudely, but you see, you need to work on getting it. Let me reword that. Work on getting it, but it's not about you. You don't have to get it. You're white. Of course, it doesn't impact you any, but it is a vicious and horrible, horrible thing, all meant to dehumanize. And this is historical. And this is just another way to keep people from looking at Black people and other people of color as humans. It's disgusting. Neil, Lisa, you hit the nail on the head. Lisa, school children, minorities, elderly, disabled. And that's what exactly it is. I keep thinking if Black people and people of color and brown people and African Americans and people in historically marginalized groups could somehow join together, we could put an end to all this. It would be over. Because in my mind, personally, every single thing we're talking about, it's kind of like the German pastor Niemöller. Martin Niemöller, when he said, first they came, he's the famous guy that talked about first they came for the socialists, but I wasn't a socialist. We are intertwined in what's going on. And the white folks who are supporting Trump are oblivious. They're going against their own best interest. When you support a person in historically marginalized group, I don't care if they're homeless, disabled, mentally ill, you're supporting yourself. And it's pathetic that, Lisa, regarding blackface and my personal observation, and I consider myself a fairly woke ally, it is only recently, thanks to the conversation going on nationally, did I realize the deeper meaning. Absolutely. And you know what, Lisa, that is awesome. Because here's the thing. I'm going to be doing this my whole life. I don't know everything. I don't even know close to everything. I don't even know a fourth of everything. All a white person needs to do is just care and be willing to learn. That's all. We don't have to be perfect. I make mistakes. God, I've made mistakes. There's stuff I didn't know. And that's forgivable and that's understandable. But they got to be willing to try, So that's great points. Great points, Lisa. Thank you so much. When I teach I told you I have a group that's for majority group members to learn from people in historically marginalized groups. And everybody in there is a learner, and everybody in there is also a teacher. Otherwise, they shouldn't be in there because the group's not for everybody. And every single person in there. Here's an example. We have some Black folks in there who are amazing, and they're great teachers. And they are patient with these white people and they glean something from it. Some of them have never met a person who's transgender. We have people who are transgender in the group. They teach them. So it's like a place you can go. And actually, I met my first real live Muslim there. Okay. I have some best friends that are Muslim. I didn't before, but it's a place where friends meet each other and say, you know what? I'm not going to let someone, do rotten things to you. You're my friend. And when someone says, oh, Black people do this, or Muslims do this, or disabled people are this, or mentally ill people are, you say, I know a couple of people who are like that, and that's not how they're like. I know a couple of people who are, struggling with that, and you're wrong. I actually know somebody. The whole idea that 3 out of every 4 white people in America do not have a single close friend who's not white. That is unbelievable. And it's killing us. And I will shut up and actually read. Robert, wearing blackface is hurtful because it was and is used to create a caricature of Black Americans, exaggerating the Black form and reinforcing racist perceptions. My God, that is so well said. I won't read mine. I was going to get into it and why it's so offensive, but Neil, that is like perfect. Exactly. Neil, we need to work on a project to get you on TV. Me? Oh, geez. TV like PBS or radio. We as a group need to search friends and TV stations and radio stations to get the ball rolling. Some of us know someone who can help. Yeah, I thank you, Neil. You are an incredible support. And everybody here, this is my life. This is a lifestyle. This is not a hobby. I am passionate about it. And I wish there was a way I could get people TED Talks. I don't know if I have to have a PhD or I don't know, but yeah, that's a great idea. All I can say is that I might not know the most, but I want to teach white America how to be human. And it feels so good once they learn. When I see these people in my groups breaking through, it's like riding first class. You can't go back. Once you realize what's really happening, you have to learn it all. You have to delve into it and just, it's like, you just want to find out. You've been lied to your whole life. Your racist relatives, your school books, you've been lied to. And now you just want to try to figure it all out. And I know that's how it is for me. So I'm going to jump into one more thing because I have to let people go at some point. I was going to talk about the racist companies and corporations that have been I don't get it. They are coming out of the woodworks. But what I really wanted to make sure I got to talk about, and I want to know what you think. I just want to briefly talk about this new Congress. My hopes are for the new Congress. My hopes, and I'll probably get disappointed, but Anton, Kim, I think you're right. If every white person researched history and thought about our country and looked into the government policies, I truly think a lot of people would change their ways. Anton, I can't believe that there's a set number of white people who are just plain evil. I'm so sorry. They can't, they won't, we can't help them. There's nothing. But there's a set of people who are doing nothing. They think they're on the right side of history because they're nice. Hi, Mom. Just woke up to you. How are you? Oh, Anthony. Hello. Thank you for being here. Yay. Thanks. Okay. There's a set of white folks, and I think it's the biggest sect, like it's a cult. They think they're on the right side of history because they're nice to everybody. They don't get it. They don't get why. Wow, it seems like lots of Black people like to live in really impoverished areas, and they don't know what redlining is. They don't know what sundown towns are. They don't know our real history. They don't know what we've done. They don't know what Black codes were. They don't realize. They don't get it. But they are nice to everybody, and they think that's enough. It's these people that I think if they could just know the real history over time, and it takes like years, they would get it. They would be like, wow, and they would evolve, and then they would stop the cycle of racism with their children. And I don't know, maybe easy for me to say, I'm white, you know. I believe. It's just my hope. But it's just because it's not that I think that white people should be saviors, but my God, you don't stand there and do nothing while your fellow humans are being treated like a piece of crap and killed and murdered and hurt and harmed. How about not killed, but paralyzed or traumatized for life? These are humans. We shouldn't have to tell our little Black, brown, indigenous babies the truth. We shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to have a month in February where we all get to say, yay, Black History Month. I mean, it's like it should be every day. There should be no month because every day is Black History Month or Black History Day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Robert, impossible to separate blackface from its history of oppression because the practice was created to be oppressive and dehumanizing. Those who decided to wear blackface are maintaining a racist legacy. Abso-stinkin-lutely. They are at best simply ignorant and clueless as hell, and racist. And I'm sorry, people need to get over themselves. I truly believe, and I did a video on it, and I got more hell from people. It was kind of funny, actually. I personally, my belief is that all whites are racist. Don't jump on me, don't freak, because I believe implicit bias is a form, a low-level form, but a very, very dangerous form of racism. Implicit bias, hence the implicit bias, oftentimes is very, very subconscious. And that is dangerous because the person actually believes they're okay. And that's the danger of not getting your own implicit bias. And you cannot be white and born into this society and not have implicit bias. I am sorry. I mean, if you watch my video on it, you'll see how I got implicit bias, and it was all very obvious from my childhood. My parents never said a racial slur in their entire life. Neither did my grandparents. Not from that. I'm driving by, an area in LA that isn't a fantastic area because it was redlined to death. And maybe someone in the car says, oh, that's a bad area. Well, who do I see in that bad area? I see people who are not white. I'm 2 years old, 2.5. What is that telling me? Stuff like this matters. Neil, remember the outcry by the white people when the schools were segregated? That still is an issue in so many schools, and it's unbelievable. We had to get the military. Was that right? Is it the military? It was the military, right? Wow. That's unbelievable. To walk children to school so they could be integrated. Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas. Unbelievable. It hasn't been that long. It really hasn't. Kitchen politics. Buying Israeli goods is supporting their apartheid against the Palestinian people. A lot of people think that. I want to jump on. Well, the comments have stopped for a second. I wanted to get to this new Congress because they held an important hearing on the role of money in politics. And Representative Cortez kicked ass. And I don't agree with everything she does. The whole reparations thing was troubling to me. Some of it was, but I got to tell you, she's nails. I can't be like, oh, she said something about reparation. A lot of people were kind of turned off by that, but you know what? She's got some guts and she gets it. And what she did was awesome. Oh, Tim Weiss, Lisa, about Tim. I know Tim Weiss is awesome. He's really good. He's really good. Do you know, I think his name is, yes, absolutely. I follow him as well. I bow down to these people. Yep, I follow him as well. He's really good. So Representative Cortez made headlines when, and I think you guys must have seen this. It was everywhere. And if you didn't, let me quickly tell you about it. She made headlines when she came up with a line of questioning while they were talking about the role of money in politics. And what she did was she asked a lot of questions and made it extremely crystal clear, like we all didn't know, that we are a corrupt government. We have a corrupt government. And she asked if there was anything stopping her from running a campaign funded completely by corporate political action committees. And she wondered, is there anything that legally prevents me from doing that? The answer was no. Next, she asked if she was a really, really bad guy. Could I pay off some people to cover up skeletons in my closet? Is there anything preventing me from using hush money to keep people quiet? The answer was no. And the fact is, there are no laws that will stop that. And that is pathetic. It's unbelievable. Many people are very, very glad that somebody's finally having the courage to step up to the plate. I love it. I 100% encourage her. Lisa, AOC is a badass, and the Republicans fear her, and all women really. 100%. She's totally a kick-ass lady. I feel like if I could ever get like that popular, that's kind of how I would be. So I kind of like look at her like, oh my God, if she's just She is there to do right by the people. And they hate her guts. Of course. I mean, they made fun of her. They made her like she was, they slut shamed her for dancing. It's like, my God, she was doing a college project. I did a video on that too, because I just get so enraged. I did a video on that. It was like, God, this nation has got to catch on to the fact that being rich does not mean you're the best. Excuse my naivete, but I still believe in my heart of hearts that it's our nation's values. We equate wealth and material possessions as more valuable than and more prestigious than honesty, integrity, and humanism. And that is a character flaw in our nation that was built, we were built on that. And I don't know if it can be dismantled. I really don't. MAGA is also code word for shoving women back to the home and home front for their politics. Oh, the Make America Great Again. Totally racist. It's yeah, and sexist. And yep. Oh my gosh. It's also code for shoving. Let me see. Got it. Sorry, I'm like falling. Oh, Ruby Ridges. Robert is only 62. I read that today again, and I have a bunch of books on her at my house, but she's 62 years old. She was that little black girl that desegregated New Orleans school districts. Thank you, Robert. Let that sink in. Yeah. She's 62 years old. That's insane. That's not even old. Myron, thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for saying something. I know I have to wrap this up, but kitchen politics. Hitler used it when he ran. Make Germany great again. The KKK even use it. Yeah. Oh, don't get me started on that Trump, but yeah, no, his hero is Hitler. I promise you. And I'm not just saying that. I don't know that for a fact. It is an opinion, but based on what his silenced ex-wife had to say in an interview, he's like, I needed to tell you that. So, yeah, the bottom line is that the money in politics corrupts. Like, we didn't know that. And she is bringing it out. And I am so just pleased and happy about it, that these women are not going to stop talking, and they're not going to keep people comfortable. And the old way of doing business that's corrupt is going to be brought out. She is such a badass. It's unbelievable. Lisa, that was a great description. Really great description. Kitchen politics. The scum of the world deserves, never mind. Thank you. So I can read it. Not going to say what I really want to. I don't want the Secret Service knocking at my door and taking me downtown. Yeah. And part of that's a good idea. In fact, when I did talk about, at the last show, I talked about the attempt on his life that was kind of kept pretty quiet. And it's very important that in these shows that we show respect and because they will do their job. And so we don't want to, nobody should ever be hurt or ever be harmed. And I get it. Mr. SF Black, greatness for the, I call them magma hats, the MAGA, am I saying it right? MAGA supports is making white supremacy outright again. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's disgusting. I freak when I see somebody's sticker that still has something like Make America Great Again. I'm like, so I take pictures of it. I'm like, I don't know. I'll never, ever get used to this overt, disgusting, totally contrived, superior, great again. No, what they're trying to say is I'm a racist piece of shit, and I want my nation to be back the way it was. And it's disgusting. So, I do rant and rave. Great points. I'm going to wrap it up because I get the feeling my family would probably like to go to bed, and I happen to be in their room. But before you go, I wanted to just, if you believe, like I do, that it's way past time for white Americans like me to stand up, learn our real racial history, and start educating ourselves and other people. Please support me by, in any way you can, get your friends to watch. I don't have any white friends left that, well, I mean, I do, but like a lot of them ran away. So all my white friends are like really educated and stuff, and they're always learning every day. So like, but if you guys could help me reach out to people, I have to be able to get to the people that need this. You guys could be right here doing this. You guys are smarter, you're more educated than I am. And plus, a lot of people in our audience, they live this. I mean, the only reason I'm doing this is because I want white people to see a real live white person actually talking about racism, because white America needs to start talking about racism and just suck it up and get used to it and do what it takes. Because these are our fellow humans. These are our brothers and sisters, and we're letting them be killed. It's just, God, don't even get me started. Okay. I'm ranting, baby. I am going to try to do a special, really, really quick and dirty when I say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to do this quick and dirty, really fast 1-minute post of all the things that have been flying under the radar. There's just too much news to cover, but please go to my YouTube channel, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, check it out, friend me if you want to. I would love it. And tell me your ideas. If you know people that I could connect with who want to collaborate, I would be so appreciative, because I really don't have too many people I know very well. All I know is that I need personally to talk about this, and I need to get white people to get this. And I need them to get it by hearing your voices. I wish I had a call-in or something, so that I want them to hear your voices instead of me trying to sort through. But I am going to read Lisa. It's a pretty loaded term, and let me see, subject to interpretation. For the Donald Trump base, it's leads them back to their earlier times when women and minorities had fewer rights and choices. Absolutely. I mean, we can gaslight, we can dog whistle, we can do all these things, but people who love their fellow humans, they'll learn and they'll get it. And Myron, thank you so much. Thank you. I just wish I could do more. I don't know how to get to these people. I don't know how to make them get this. And I'm white, so Jesus, it's like Lisa and white men ruled the day. Oh gosh, oh my God, you're too funny. You're too funny. And white men ruled the day in backroom deals. Yep, yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I am gonna shut up and you guys are great. I'll see you next week, I hope. And I absolutely love you guys for being here. Thank you so much. So share, get people to the YouTube and talk to me and tell me what you think. I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear what you think. So don't be shy to friend me. I'm a little shy to friend people, but if you friend me, I promise I will be thrilled, because I want to know what you think. Okay. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Anton. Thanks, Lisa. Just go right up the Myron. Thank you. And Mr. FS Black, if you're still there, and Kitchen Politics. Thank you, everybody. This means the world to me. Okay, I'm going to shut up finally. Good night. And all I have to do is try to turn this off. Sweet dreams, everybody.